Oh, hi. Come on in. Don't stay out there and be freezing. So I understand you. Sorry, I understand you want to see my wheel. Come on through. It's right in here, in my bedroom, and where the computer is, where I usually sit to knit and watch some podcasts. She's right over there. Can you see her? It's an Ashford Kiwi, 2 even. She hasn't told me her name yet, but I'm sure she will. So that's where I've been sitting spinning, enjoying my lovely view in the green of the garden. I might as well show you whilst I'm at it. You can see my earphones. Here is my stash. You can see I've got some yarn in there. And then I've got another box or whatever it's called down there. That is pretty much my stash, really. I do have some yarn over here. That is the yarn that I'm working on, and my needles over by the computer where I usually sit. And then here under my bed I also have one of these, what do you say, drawer? It's not really a drawer, but one of them with my sock blockers and blocking, what do you call these? Like the thingy and my ball winder and stuff. And that is pretty much all that I have in my stash. And over here you can see my bookshelf. Here's my knitting books and some crochet as well, actually. So that is pretty much it. What else would you want to see? You can see there, if you lean over, down there is my sock drawer. It's not even a drawer, it's a basket. But I think it's lovely. And it's my hand knit socks in there. Sorry. Hand knits are always wonderful. And here, oops, I almost dropped you. In this drawer I have my knitted shawls. Yeah. And so you maybe you can tell that my apartment is not huge. So this is the room. It's not huge. And then over here you can see all the way down back in my, well, the hallway. And I keep my closets here, and you can see up on that shelf are my hand knit sweaters and cardigans. And then I have some down there as well, but most of the garments are up there. And it says some wise words. If you do what you always do, you will get what you always got. And that is, you're beautiful when you're smiling in Swedish. And then you can see a beautiful embroidery made by my mom over there. And another bookshelf, and then we are through to the kitchen. There is the throne room right in there as well. And I've tried to show you before. Can you even see it now? It's so glary. There is my family portrait. There is me. So over here is my kitchen. My huge kitchen. And so this is where I sit when I record. And I've talked about my big windows that let all the light in. And over there is my little neat tea collection. And that bowl maybe, in which I keep some tea lights, I've made out of magazine paper. I'm pretty pleased with that. And yeah, so there's the tripod that I will place the camera on, and you can see if I come through this way that is pretty much what it usually looks like, even though most of the time you don't get to see all the chaos around it. Hello, yeah, and welcome. I have no idea what number episode this is. but welcome very much. I'm Maja. See, this week I remember to tell you my name up front and not in the very back. I'm Maja, and you can find me as sjomajlin on, on Ravelry and on Instagram. And on YouTube. No, I am sorry. I've tried this spring to just deny the existence of pollen. I think I need to surrender. Either that or I'm coming down with something, and then I would rather have the pollen actually. So I've been away singing 2 gigs today, and I've been coughing and coughing and coughing. So hopefully I have my tea here, and hopefully my voice will manage. So yeah, hi, how are you? I hope everything is great. And now I'm trying to organize my thoughts very quickly. I do have 2 things that I want to talk about. So if you're a returning viewer, first of all, thank you for coming back, and thanks for giving me a try if you're a new one. I've touched upon this before, but you know that I don't really do segments, but I usually do things pretty much in the same order, which is give you a quick update about me and my life and my week and everything up front, and then I will do the fibrous stuff, so that for those of you who don't really have the time, it is, you know, pretty much up front, and then you can go if you don't have the time, which is fine. But today I have some things that is kind of important, and when I have that, I usually have that up front, even though that means that the other stuff will be a bit later. And if you are skipping ahead, I can't stop you from that, but I have 2 things I want to talk to you about today, that I will do up front. So I am gonna grab my knitting, that I will show you what it is in a little while. There are 2 things I want to talk about, as I've said. One is, because I was just thinking, you know, what am I gonna say? Is there anything that I don't want to miss in this episode and stuff like that? And so I was thinking through like the week update and stuff, and I was like, it's been a rough week. It's been I've been having like a sensation of being very heavy this week. I am depressed. I have a depression. I am doing medicine. I am no idea how I am supposed to say that grammatically correct, but you know what I mean. And it's been a really rough week, and especially today has been really rough. And I didn't even tell you, this is Friday. I usually say that up front as well. Friday the 22nd of May, and it's 2015. So today I slept late, first of all, and then I just couldn't get out of bed. And then I posted about it on Instagram, and some of you guys have been very supportive, and I thank you very much for that. I will reply on Instagram as well in a while, but I haven't done that yet. And then I was like, you know, and I've talked about this before, and I've talked about why I think it's so important before, but it is something that is so important to me, and I really want to stress it. I am not talking about my depression and experiences of this for you to say, you know, that I am brave or that I am strong. Even though when you say it, because some of you have said it, it really, you know, it makes my heart warm, really. But that is not the reason why I do it. And I am not saying it for you to, well, have pity for me. I am talking about this because I think it's a very important cause. That is very important to me. I do not think that by talking about stuff, having a more open attitude towards mental health issues is not going to make the issues go away. I'm sure. But I do believe that it will help a lot of people feel just a little bit less crappy, really. Because it's such a taboo and stigma, and that is not helping anyone, I believe. And so this is just something that is so important to me, to be able to feel that, you know, maybe I'm not doing everything that I could or should, but I'm doing something, and that is so important to me. So I am not, and of course, like in real life, when someone comes up and like, oh, how are you, is everything okay, and I will be like, yeah, you know, I'm just a bit tired, and I will not say like, you know, yeah, I'm doing okay, but I'm struggling with depression and my energy is all gone. So sure, sometimes I'm a bit ashamed of my own cowardness in not saying what I would want to say. But still I'm trying, and I'm doing something. And one thing that I think is important overall is that no matter what you're going through, you can never say to someone else like, yeah, I know exactly how you feel. I've been through that exact same thing, because you've never been. Even if you are going through the same situation with someone, like a partner in your life or something, if you're going through the same thing objectively, it is not the same thing, because you are experiencing it differently, and you can never know exactly what someone else is feeling. And even though I am going through depression right now, I can never say that I know exactly what someone else is going through with their depression. But I do think that we can get a better understanding of each other and each other's struggle. So that is good. So I want to share just a little bit about what my perspective is, or what I am going through. Because, I mean, I used to think that depressed people are sad all the time, and that is what depression is. And it can be. I'm not saying it's not, but it doesn't have to be. So for me this week, for example, I've been feeling like heavy. So today, for example, I had a really good night's sleep. I slept long and good, but I just couldn't wake up in the morning. I just hit the snooze button over and over again, and I knew I didn't have to go to work until, after lunchtime. So I wasn't not really in a hurry, but I had plans to do some stuff before I went to work today. But I just couldn't wake up, and then when I woke up, I just could not face getting out of bed. And it was not like, oh, what's the point? Nothing really matters. Some people might feel that. I don't, at least not now. I was very excited to get to work today, because I love the work that I do. I had 2 singing gigs to do today with people who always are very happy to see me, and it's a really good atmosphere, and I feel valuable going there, and it's an amazing feeling. So I was looking forward to it, but I was not sad. I was not, feeling what's the point of everything and all of that. I just did not have the energy. I just could not face getting out of bed for a long time. And then obviously I did get out of bed, and I did go to work, and I did enjoy it, and I am very tired. And that is, I would have to describe it as sort of feeling, I'm physically intact, obviously, but then we have our inner person, and whether you call that your soul or your spirit or your ego or whatever you call it, we have an inner person as well. And it feels like that has something missing. There is a part of me missing. Of course I get sad and, down as well, but that is not, to me, that is not what my depression is. My depression is an emptiness and lack of energy. And that is something that I'm struggling with. And the reason I'm telling you as I said before, it's not for you to feel sorry for me or to pity me or to say that I'm strong or anything like that. I am just trying to break the silence. I'm using a hashtag on YouTube, on Instagram, which is I refuse to be part of the silence, and that is really what it is. Breaking the silence and also, in some ways, you know, spreading knowledge. Because I think that if we help each other feeling less crappy, this world will be a better place. So that is an important cause to me, and I do respect that, you know, not everyone thinks it's an important cause, and that is fine, but to me it is an important cause. So that was the one thing. And the second thing I wanted to talk about as well is another cause that I find very important. I just need to check one thing. Okay, sorry. That was totally weird. The other thing is also an important cause. And I don't really know which way to go about this, but we'll see if I manage to close it up in the end. I've talked a little bit about my work and what I do. And let me see if I can look up a word whilst I'm talking. I work for an organization that I believe, and that is the word I'm trying to look up, I believe it's called informal education. And I'm trying to think of the alphabet at the same time as I'm talking. Build. Yeah, well, it's not school, but we are trying to give people the opportunity to learn stuff. And it can be well, adult education. No, I'm not sure. We are a part of the laborers movement or the workers movement. We are not a political party, and we're not political like that, but we are associated with the Social Democrats and the laborers movement, as I said. And so what we do, what our important thing, you can read through the, like our, what's it called, like our value, like constitution, you know? And the most important thing is that we want to really stand up for each individual's unique and equal value or worth. And that is the big thing. And within giving people the opportunity to learn, and it can be, so we are offering Swedish for immigrants, for example. That is an example of learning something that you really need. And then we are also offering classes or courses in, well, different crafts and other sort of less serious stuff. You understand what I mean? Like, it's not something that you actually need, but it is something that will make you feel better as a person. It will help you grow. And also we do a lot of culture, and that is mostly what I do for work. To also help people, you know, learn something and feel better as a person and be a stronger person. And being a person who takes their place in society and in our democracy. And by learning and feeling that you can enrich your own life, we believe that people will also be a better part of the society. And that is pretty much it. So the most important thing is that everyone is equally worth and valuable and also unique. And then we are, as I said, we are associated with the Social Democrats, and also a part of, like that, we're like a family of organizations under the same what do you say, on the same roof or on the same umbrella. Sorry, I'm just really stiff in my back. And we are also doing a lot of things together with the organization for, like the national organization for the workers' union. Is that the word? I believe it is. Which is also, you know, for the small person to be able to say that, you know, I have a right to fair wages and maybe some benefits and stuff. And so we do, our arenas are different. We do different things, but we are within the same values, and we do stuff together. So that is the organization that I'm working for. That is a background you need to know. Last year was the first year we had a Pride festival or festivities in my town. And these organizations together was doing some stuff, showing our faces to show that we think it's important that everybody is equal. There is homophobia within the work environments, and we wanted to say that, you know, we stand for the little person. But my organization wasn't really a part of that last year. And I felt it was so important. I mean, there is no reason at all as to why my organization should not be there. So I was there. I couldn't be there a lot. I mean, due to the hours and stuff and the other work that I had to do and stuff. But I felt that of course we're gonna be there. You know, there is no reason why we shouldn't. And I'm not saying that my co-workers didn't find it important, but it wasn't, like, we didn't get the information very long before, and you know, it can be difficult to just make time sometimes, even though if you might think it's important. So last year I was there, and then it was more of a long festival last year, and then on this Saturday of that week last year, it was the parade going through town, and like the big festival afternoon thing. So I was like asking my boss, like, are we gonna be there? And he said, you are very welcome to be there, but you have to do it on your own time. And I was like, fine, I think it's important, I'm gonna be there. So I was walking in the Pride Parade last year, wearing my organization's logo and everything. So I felt it to be an important cause. This year, the whole Pride festivities has been downsized, which is sad, but I do really believe that the important thing that it is something. So all the official flag posts throughout the town has had, not all of them, but most of them, has been decorated with rainbow flags for 2 weeks now. There has been some happenings and stuff going on, but not a lot this year. But tomorrow, on Saturday, so tomorrow when I'm recording this, so Saturday will be the parade day, and then like a, you know, festival afternoon in a park with concerts and stuff. And so the boss, my boss, sent out an email earlier this week saying, we need to have people there, sign up. And I was like, of course I'm gonna be there. So tomorrow I will be paid by my organization to walk in the Pride Parade through town. And I think that is, I mean, that is so amazing. I find it to be a very important cause, that every person, all people are equal in worth and value. And I think it's just beautiful that at least some organizations and employers also find it important enough that they will actually pay their employees to be there. And that is so amazing. Yeah. So those were the two things that I wanted to talk to you about up front. Just because I really find it important. So, other than that, as I've said, I had a pretty rough week, and I mean, I'm doing good, but I'm tired, and just an intense sensation of being heavy. I can't explain it better than that. But it's been a pretty good week. I haven't... Well, you know that I had my spinning wheel delivered last week, and I assembled it, and I've been doing some spinning. So I don't have as much knitting as usual, but I have more spinning than usual. And I said last week that I really don't see that spinning will take up all of my time. It has taken up a lot of time this week. But to me, I mean, if you spin and I don't know what to say, you don't have to do anything with yarn. You don't have to put that extra weight on yourself. It's okay just to spin. But to me, I also want to use the yarn. So obviously I can't take all the time to spin and not use the yarn. And then also I really like to, pop. I have a project down here on the floor where I usually sit and eat my breakfast, and then I usually pick it up and knit a few stitches over breakfast and stuff like that. And I don't really see spinning being that sort of during something else activity. That really did not make any sense. I don't know. So I don't have a huge amount of knitting to show you this week, but I have some. So I do have a finished object. I just need to get through there. I do have a finished object, which is this shrug. The cotton shrug is done. Maybe I should have worn my hair up to show it to you. I was asked to share the pattern or stitch count for it. I've told you before that I've just only really improvised this, but I will try to tell you. This is out of a cotton yarn, and I'm knitted on size 3mm, and obviously you'd have to adjust to your gauge and yarn and stuff. But I started on the left sleeve or the left cuff with 40 stitches, made ribbing, and then I increased to 50 stitches on the first stockinette row, and then just a couple of rounds above that I increased to 60 stitches. And then I knit up through, or just above the elbow. I started making the increases. You can almost see them. Well, you can see them. I made some increases every 10th row. And then and I tried it on all the way. And then in the armpit I increased. So at that point I had 68 stitches. And then I opened it up, knitted flat across the back, and I measured it all of the time. And then when I closed it back down here, I did the corresponding decreases as I had made the increases. And I just did knit two together, because I don't think you're gonna see it that much, because it's on the inside of my arms. Decreased to 60 before the elbow, and then it's straight, and then to 50 and a couple of rounds, and then 40, and then the ribbing. And then when I was done, I picked up stitches all the way around here. Oh, where am I? All the way around the back and down here, and then around down here. And since I had made a 1x1 rib on the cuff, I made a 1x1 rib around here as well. You could add some short rows at the front to make it more of a cardigan with more of a front, but I made it very short just to have as a layering piece over, well, sleeveless summer tops or such. And then if you make it if you make the edge longer, it will obviously also come back lower on your back. And then you can just fold the color over if it's too long. And then I just, wove in the ends and soaked it and stretched it out. Since it's cotton, it doesn't, it doesn't really have memory, or it does really, but it doesn't behave like wool, that. And you can obviously make this in wool as well. But it's a nice little summer piece, I think, and I'm happy with it. So I finished that, and I've woven in the ends, and I haven't really worn it yet, but it's done. And that is that is the only finished object I've got. And then I have 3 works in progresses. How hard can it be to count, really? And you've seen them all before. I don't have anything new cast on. So this is the little baby or toddler sweater that I'm making for charity. I have not done a lot of progress on it, but some. And it is out of Red Heart Detroit acrylic. And I don't know, off-white cream or something. It's coming along. And then I've been working a little bit on my Gale shawl, which is this leafy motif. Can you see it against the white wall there? Kind of. It's hard to show because there's always something behind it that blurs or not blurs, but it gets in the way visually. So I'm working this out of the Mini Mushi yarn, and I have the ball band in here as well, that I've showed you a couple of times now. This also hasn't had a lot of attention. It has had some, but it's coming along. I am into the second skein or ball, and it is 2 that I have, so I'm more than halfway. And I've also been working on my handbroms, which is my take on the handbrake cowl by Dan and Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, which you should go and look at their podcast if you haven't already. And then you should definitely go through to KF Jones on Ravelry and buy this pattern. It's a good pattern. I've modified it. But all the proceeds of the pattern will be donated to cancer research. So that also is a good cause. So I've been working this up. As I said, it's a modified version. I am working it out of cotton, of a lilac-y color, and it's getting long. You can see next to my head that it's getting long. I want to have it really long. I haven't decided how long yet. I believe I'm in my 3rd skein, or am I in my 4th? Let me see how many ends I have in here. Yes, I'm on my 3rd skein, and it is, maybe I'm halfway through it, and I have 5 total. So pretty much halfway through the yarn that I have in this color. Maybe I'm not going to use it all. I haven't decided yet. So I'm working on that. And I don't know, I've said before I don't really like working on cotton. So both that is in cotton, and this as well is in cotton. I don't really like working in cotton, and then I know that cotton is like the worst thing ever for our planet. The way cotton is produced today. And I sort of say to myself, it's okay, I really don't use a lot of cotton yarn. But on the other hand, most of the clothes that I buy has cotton. I don't buy a lot of clothes, sure, but... And then I kind of feel like, I'm not going to beat myself up for the yarn that I have already purchased. Yeah, I don't know. I have somewhat mixed feelings. So that is the knitting that I have. And then I have some spinning. Oh dear. Spinning on a wheel is so much fun. I have so much to learn, obviously, but it is so much fun. So I have been at it. So I did write down how many meters I've had. So this first that I will show you, this is Gotland wool that I bought on Gotland when I was there this summer. And I believe this is... Oh! Sorry. I bought two, and I believe it's called a bat. It's not a braid or a top, but it was like, you know, just a big fluff that is carded, so the fibers are somewhat orderly. I bought two of them anyway, and I know that one of them was lamb's wool and one was ewe's wool. Do you say that? So I'm guessing, I kind of think that one of them said lamb and the other one was the other one. So I'm thinking that this is the ewe. So this is undyed, and I spun. It is overspun. It is somewhat, at least in places, overplied as well, but mostly it's overspun. I spun a single and then I Navajo plied it. And you can see that it's pretty high energy. I would say the thickness is fairly consistent. It's not bad. Of course there are places that is worse than others, but I'm not very disappointed. As I said, I know I have so much to learn, obviously, but it's not that bad, actually. So I weighed this, and it's just over 100 grams, like 102 or 103 or something. And it turned out to be 130 meters when it's a Navajo ply, so it's a 3-ply. And that is not, I mean, it's not too bad, is it? For a newbie. And yeah, it has a lot of energy. But I will make something of it, and I think it will be good. And I'm very happy with it. So let me put it back together. So that was the first, the first thing that I made on my wheel. And then I pulled out a braid that I had, which is called solig blandning. It looks like this, the colors. So solig blandning means like sunny mix. And it is 70% wool and 30% bamboo. And I believe it was 100 grams. When I weighed this afterwards, it was like 93 or something. But I ripped out chunks where it broke and I couldn't, you know, just a piece was in between and I couldn't. So I threw some of it away. So I believe it was 100 grams from the start. So it is red, orange and yellow, and then some streaks of pink in there. And this was a braid. This is also Navajo ply, and they turned out to be 100 meters. Finally. Within this braid, and you can see it's also kind of energy filled. What do you say? There's a lot of energy in it. I'm pretty sure that within this braid, the yellow and part of the orange was the bamboo. Because it was such a huge difference, the fibers. And so the yellow fibers were shorter, I believe. And the ends were... And I'm such a newbie at spinning, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But when I'm spinning wool and you pull the fiber out, they are sort of, you know, overlapping all the time. But within these yellow fibers that I believe was the bamboo, they didn't really overlap, they came in chunks. So at any given, not any given, but at some given points or places, there are a lot of ends sticking out in the exact same place. And it broke several times, and I was very frustrated with it, and then I spun it thicker in many places than I would have wanted to, just because I couldn't keep it staying together. So you can see there is also the Navajo ply change or interlock, but you can see that this is not very consistent. That is like a really bad example. A lot of this is smoother or more even than that, but this was very difficult to spin. And then when I soaked it afterwards, the yellow, the water was very, very yellow. So, and the finished yarn is less yellow than it was before I soaked it. So I'm a bit disappointed with that, but that is also something to learn, right? And I believe that was the bamboo. And that is not necessarily so that I don't like bamboo, but maybe it depends on, because the braid wasn't blended. The bamboo was like a strand within the braid, and maybe I should have done something different to it to have it blend better, but I couldn't. But I think it's, I love the colors, so I'm happy with that. So those are the sort of FOs of the spinning. I want to do something. I'm thinking that maybe I will do some sort of color work with these, just to, you know, have a sort of a momentum type thing. I haven't decided yet. We'll have to see. But then I started my third project on the wheel, which also was a braid, which was merino silk, and it doesn't say the percentage on here, and the colorway, or it just says blue, purple and lime. So it doesn't really have a name. And with this I really worked very hard to make it thinner, and I think I did a pretty good job. So this is the single. I haven't applied this yet. And you can see there is blues and purple and some, well, lime, somewhere between lime green and yellow up here. And then there is some very bright green as well, but it's further in. Obviously it didn't come out so good in the outermost layer of this. So this is very thin, and I'm very happy with that. And I will try to, I finished this yesterday, so I haven't had the time yet, but I will chain ply this as well. And hopefully it will be kind of a sock weight, but maybe a bit thicker. We'll have to see. That was what I was going for with this. And as I said, this is merino silk blend, and I don't know what percentage it is. But it was much easier to spin, so I like that. So I've had quite some spinning done this week as well, and I'm really liking it. So much so that I had to order some new fiber. So let me pick it out of the bag over here and hope it's not too much crinkle. Crinkle? Do you even say that? I ordered some fiber, and it doesn't really say on these like ball bands what it is. I thought, but I was like, I know what they are called, and I can go back through the web page to look at what it is. But then on this one it says like this, and all but 2 of the little boxes are checked. So I don't know if that means it is the other 2, or if it means that it is all of these. It can't be merino, Swedish wool, Angelina, nylon, silk, tencel, mohair, and the last one, which is like other. Or maybe a can, I don't know. I bought these anyway. Which I believe is called bats in English, I'm not sure. It's cardflor in Swedish. So these are pinkish with white, I would say. And then some other streaks as well, but so it's 100 grams together, so it's 50 and 50. I believe it's supposed to be English long wool. At least some of them. Either this, or both. I don't remember. But then I got this as well. That doesn't say anything. And I just got these today, so I haven't had the time to... I sat down to record instead of going back through the web page and look at what it actually was, the content. But then these as well, which is darker blue and purple and bits of this tealy color. Doesn't really show up awesome. It's kind of overcast today, so the lighting is a bit different than what it has been lately. And then I also did order an opal surprise sock yarn in there. Well, it's a rainbow colorway. I don't know if it has a name, because sometimes these like very bright colors has names even if it's opal. But the colorway is 4061. And I've been trying, because some of you guys who speak English always say when it comes to these German yarns that you never remember if it's Farbe or Parti, that is color or dye lot. And to me it is obvious, because Farbe is färg and Parti is parti. But it's not as obvious if you are not speaking, well, European language, even though English is, well, you know what I mean. So I've been trying to come up with some way, like, you know, a rule of thumb, or, you know, a word play or something to help you English people, English spoken people. I don't know what you are called, but I haven't figured it out yet. Maybe I will. We'll have to see. I don't really have plans for this other than to make socks. I just felt rainbowy, so I got it. I also have ordered some more yarn. It hasn't been delivered yet, so I will show it to you when it gets here. But I did buy a Swedish knitting magazine a couple of weeks ago, and I found a sweater in there that I want to make, so I ordered yarn for that. So, but I will show it to you when it gets here. It was not all that fancy, so I don't have to be bragging about it yet. Last week, I told you I had been thinking about something that I wanted to have as my favorite thing of the week. And it just, you know, left my mind altogether, and I was like, I know, as soon as I end this recording and start to upload it to my computer, it will come to me. And it did, of course. Not only because I remembered it as soon as I turned it off, but also because it was lying right next to my computer, because it's a DVD collection that I have, or I had bought the first 3 seasons of, oh, look there, Lark Rise to Candleford. It's a BBC production. Oh! I almost had a fiber down. It's a BBC production. And you can have, it is available, most of it is available on YouTube actually, if you search for Lark Rise to Candleford, if you want to check it out before you perhaps make a purchase. I was looking at it on YouTube and I was like, I love this, I need to have it. It is set in the Oxfordshire countryside at the end of the 19th century. I sort of feel I want to compare it to Little House on the Prairie, even though I have not been watching that too much. But it is, in the way, you know, sort of that it is about everyday life and the things that is going on, and it's not really, not a lot is going on, and it is not, you know, drama and like big things, but it's always something that is interesting and something is going on. And so this is pretty much one little hamlet, village, which is Larkrise, and then Candleford is the city or town. That is a bit bigger, and there is, you know, the disputes between them, and yeah. It's really, really cute, and, well, not cute, but it's, I just love it. They have beautiful clothes, and it's beautifully made, and it's just perfect to be looking or watching at whilst knitting or even spinning, because it's, you know, it's pretty slow going, it's real good company, but it's not a lot of, you know, action going on and you need to pay it too much attention. You can, sometimes stuff will happen obviously and you will need to pay some attention, but then it's a build up and you know, like, okay, so now something is going to happen, and it is. So it's very, you know, predictive in a good way. Predictive. That's not the word I was looking for. Predictable. It's very predictable in a very good way, I think. So I love it so much. So it is kind of knitting related because I am watching this whilst knitting and spinning. Larkrise to Candleford. Look at it on YouTube if you want to get a feel for it before you order it. I think I have only seen like 2 episodes of Downton Abbey. Don't shoot me. So I can't really talk about that. But I think that this is if you like Downton Abbey, you probably kind of like this. This is a lot less posh. And I'm sorry if that is almost offensive to someone, because that is not at all what I mean, but this is like more down to earth, and yeah, I don't even know. If the reason that you like Downton Abbey is that it is this, you know, almost royal setting, then maybe you won't really like that. But if you like it as the historical drama, you probably like Candleford. Larkrise to Candleford. Give it a try. It's really good. I also talked about last week that I had started doing some fermenting. I don't know what it's called. I told you that I had started, I had made a sourdough starter. I had made yogurt and I had made cream cheese. The yogurt is wonderful. It's a bit too loose or too runny, but it's wonderful. The cream cheese as well is wonderful. Also, that is a bit too loose, but it's really good. I added some salt to it because I'm a sucker for salt. So it's a bit too much salt, or right at the edge, but that is my fault completely. The sourdough starter, however, was looking really, really good, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, so I don't know what happened. But I started a new one today, so it's right over there. And instead of using just wheat flour, I added some rye flour to it as well, and we'll just have to see how it works out, but I have not made any bread yet. I told you I was probably gonna make it on Tuesday, but I didn't, which is fine. Yes. So, you obviously needed that update. You're welcome. That is all I have for you this week. Get in touch with me if you want to. Thank you for all the feedback, thank you for all the likes, and subscribe, comment, like, PM me on Ravelry, message me, that is the same thing. Follow me on Instagram, you know, do whatever you want to do. make something beautiful, take care, be kind to yourselves and to one another, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!